Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Fairly Adventurous. Today, we are going to upload our first lore entry. This is something that we plan on doing once a week throughout the season, but we're going to start this one a little bit early to kind of give you a taste of what you're walking into, what the story is going on behind the scenes, and where our characters will start out in session 1. So I hope you enjoy it, and if you do, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel for more. We will see you next week for our first session upload. And yeah, looking forward to it. The chamber was completely silent as Duke Margrave read the parchment provided to him by the boy sitting on the other side of his desk. The room had been set up in such a way that no sound could penetrate it. William Tarse knew that it was done primarily to protect the secrecy of the discussions held in this office. But a secondary effect of the silence was that it made situations like this a bit more tense for whomever was sitting across from the Duke, something William had seen the Lord Margrave use to his advantage on more than one occasion. He stood at his lord's right side, staring at the human man in the hot seat. Lord Aidan Blackstone sat quietly in the chair and tried unsuccessfully not to squirm. William had never met the son of Duke Isaac Blackstone before, but he knew him by reputation. By all accounts, he was an arrogant and immature boy who routinely got hammered to the point of passing out with as many women as possible. He was the last person to expect a visit from today. His eyes nervously flitted around the room as he tried not to meet William's austere, stern stare. "Why?" Duke Margrave finally broke the silence. The question caught Blackstone off guard as his eyes leapt back to the nobleman behind the desk who continued to stare at the letter before him. "Why, my lord?" "Yes, why? Why are you delivering this letter to me?" Duke Margrave finally set the parchment down on the dark oak bureau and looked Blackstone in the eyes. "Sir, Blackstone stammered. "That is evidence of treason." "I know what it is, Lord Blackstone," Duke Margrave answered calmly. "But why are you bringing it to me?" Blackstone's eyes moved back and forth from William to Duke Margrave. An incredulous and confused look crept across his face, as if the answer were so obvious that to be questioned about it made him lose faith in its evidential nature. "I guess I don't understand the question, my lord." "Oh, well, I will elaborate then. You see, a boy sits before me, a boy whom I once found urinating in the royal garden, who spends more time being drunkenly dragged out of the Joaquin fountain by Coasthold's guards than he does learning any measure of economics or finance or statecraft, who, as a young lad, would have been thrown out of the academy several times had it not been for his father's interference. So my question is this: why would a boy who has no apparent sense of honor want to turn in the father who enables him for espionage and treason?" William watched as the confused look on Blackstone's face turned to one of contrite knowing. He nodded and looked at the letter sitting on Lord Margrave's desk. Blackstone took a quick breath and let it out slowly. "I understand your trepidation, my lord. My reputation is well earned. I suppose I have two reasons. The first is of a practical nature. I don't think my father would succeed. And if that were the case, then my fate would be tied to his. This way, at least I may maintain my inheritance." He paused to gauge Lord Margrave's expression, but William knew that his lordship would give nothing away. He had played this game for too long, and his stone face too well practiced. "And the second?" "The second is probably harder to believe for you. Yes, I was a terrible student during my time at the academy, but that doesn't mean everything was lost on me. I still remember what they taught us of loyalty. Using foreign aid to usurp a crown during a time of war? Well, my lord, that is not what I want for the Blackstone legacy." William could practically feel the complex calculus being done in his lord's mind. The chamber once again descended into silence as Duke Margrave's stony visage stared blankly at the Lord Blackstone. After a few moments, the young man shifted in his seat uncomfortably. "Very well," Duke Margrave said, as if the shift was what he was waiting for. "Please leave me for now. I assume you are staying in your family's house in the city?" "Yes, my lord." "Very well. I will send for you in 2 days' time." "Yes, my lord." Blackstone stood up eagerly and walked toward the door. William and Duke Margrave watched silently as he exited the chamber. The calculus in the Duke's mind continued. "Unexpected or not, we cannot afford to take no action. Duke Margrave picked the parchment up and handed it to William, who began reading over its contents. We need a full and final copy of that letter. He is certain to have contacts in the guard, my lord. Quite. And if we are dealing with foreign agents, we will want to be able to deny involvement if things go wrong. The Duke drummed his fingers on the bureau a couple of times. Put the word out, William. Mr. Smith is looking for a few strong arms to procure some stolen property. They need to be at the Old Coast Inn by sunset in 2 days' time. Yes, my lord. William left the draft letter on the desk next to Duke Margrave and walked out of the room. There were many taverns and inns throughout Coasthold that one could find a good mercenary or two in. And it was such a lovely day for a stroll.